Hello. Hey, what's up, people? How's it going? It's me, back again, your old friend. I thought I'll make a video, connect with you guys, put it on YouTube. That's what the plan for right now is. So, uh, we are in uh, last week of July 2026. It's late Thursday night at my end. I was at my place just listening to some music. I thought I'll make a video, connect with you guys, and put it on YouTube. In my last YouTube video, I was talking about some of the philosophers, from AI Overview. What AI Overview had to say about some of the philosophers. Other than that, I also read writing from a journal and some geopolitics updates. Yeah. Uh, so, um, all is good with me, guys. Same old, can't complain. It's monsoon time over here. We're expecting rain tomorrow, this week. Next 2 3 days, we're expecting showers, rainfall. So it's gonna be fun. I like the weather. I like it when it rains. It's too much fun for me. It's like a stress buster. The weather, yeah, makes you feel good somehow. Oh, oh, oh. So let's not waste too much time. I'll say. Oh, I'll adjust my phone. First. Allow me a sec, guys. We're good. So, what I'll do is I'll read some of the headlines from World Affairs. I'll read some of the headlines. Let's see what some of the updates are from geopolitics. This is one of the headlines says US and Saudi hit Iran's allies in Iraq, opening new war front. US and Saudi hit Iran's allies in Iraq, opening new war front. Washington and Riyadh say strikes in retaliation for drone attacks on Saudi oil targets from Iraq. Tehran fires on US bases in Jordan, ships in Hormuz. Trump vows punishment. Iran rules out regional management of Strait. Another headline. Report says Iran to get Chinese shoulder-fired missile systems in weeks. Report says Iran to get Chinese shoulder-fired missile systems in weeks. Beijing terms report groundless. The purchase, valued at $70 million, is one of Tehran's largest known efforts to strengthen its short-range air defenses since the outbreak of the ongoing war. Security forces crackdown. Civil unrest continue in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. 20 dead. New US sanctions target Iran's Hormuz income. Rescuers search for quake survivors in Japan, toll 18. Nearly 34,900 homes were still without electricity and 15,000 homes without running water. Japan's population below 120 million for first time in decades. Russia charges Telegram's owner with aiding terrorism. Cuba opens many crisis hit sectors to private players. Cuba opens many crisis hit sectors to private players. We have a quotation from Bill Maher. This is what it says: everything that used to be a sin is now a disease. Everything that used to be a sin is now a disease. Bill Maher. Hey guys, these are some of the updates from geopolitics. I'll give them a read. So, I'll read something from a tablet. So I'll start giving this subject a read right away. We have like 3 different subjects about 3 different philosophers. So I'll start giving them a read. This is what it says. AI overview. Socrates was an ancient Greek philosopher from classical Athens who is widely credited as one of the founders of Western philosophy and its first major moral philosopher. He famously authored no text, choosing instead to spread his ideas through public dialogue and interaction. Most of what we know about his life, character, and ideas comes from the posthumous writings of his students, most notably Plato and Xenophon. Core philosophy and the Socrates method. Unlike the thinkers who came before him, the pre-Socratics who focused primarily on cosmology and how the physical world worked, Socrates shifted the focus of philosophy to human ethics and how one ought to live. The Socratic method. Rather than lecturing, Socrates utilized a question and answer style of inquiry. He would question people who claimed to be experts on virtues like justice, love, or courage, gradually exposing the contradictions and flaws in their logic. Intellectual humility. Socrates famously claimed, "I know that I know nothing," when the oracle of Delphi pronounced him the wisest man in Athens. He realized his wisdom lay purely in the fact that he was conscious of his own ignorance, whereas others falsely believed they knew everything. Virtue and happiness. He argued that the care of the soul through the cultivation of virtue is a person's highest moral obligation. He believed all wrongdoing stems from ignorance, and that unexamined life is not worth living. Life in Athens. Socrates was the son of stonemason and a midwife. He was a highly recognizable, eccentric figure in Athenian society, known for walking the streets barefoot, wearing the same simple cloak year round, and possessing a distinctly unconventional appearance that included bulging eyes and snub nose. Despite his modest lifestyle, he served with distinction as an Athenian hoplite soldier in several military campaigns. He was married to Xanthippe, with whom he had 3 sons. Trial and execution. Socrates' habit of publicly exposing the ignorance of powerful politicians and citizens earned him deep-seated resentment. Additionally, his criticism of Athenian democracy and his association with controversial political figures made the authority deeply suspicious of his influence. In 399 BC, at the age of 70, he was put on trial under 2 major charges: impiety, failing to acknowledge the official gods of the city, and introducing new deities; corrupting the youth, inspiring young followers to question traditional authority. Found guilty by a jury of Athenian citizens, he was sentenced to death, refusing multiple offers from his wealthy followers to help him escape into exile. Socrates chose to follow the law to maintain his moral integrity. He spent his final hours calmly discussing the immortality of the soul with his disciples before drinking an executioner's cup of poisonous hemlock. The Socratic legacy. Socrates established a rich lineage of philosophical thought. His primary student, Plato, went on to found the academy and teach Aristotle, completing the triad of thinkers who laid the foundational framework for the intellectual history of the Western world. His dedication to inner virtue over material wealth also directly inspired later philosophical schools, including the Cynics and Stoics. Next subject, guys. Plato was an ancient Greek philosopher who laid the foundational framework for Western philosophy, science, and political theory. Born into an aristocratic family in classical Athens, he became the most famous student of Socrates and later the teacher of Aristotle. Distressed by the execution of Socrates under the Athenian democracy, Plato abandoned a potential political career to pursue philosophy. He eventually founded the Academy in Athens, widely considered the first university in the Western world. Key philosophical concepts. Theory of forms. He argued that the physical world is an imperfect reflection of a higher eternal realm of ideal concepts like truth, beauty, and justice. The allegory of the cave, the famous metaphor from his work The Republic, illustrating how humans are trapped by sensory illusions and must use reason to discover true reality. Philosopher Kings, his ideal political vision where society is ruled by wise philosophers rather than politicians driven by power or public emotion. Cardinal virtues. He identified wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice as the core ethical pillars for individual character and societal harmony. Major written works. Unlike Socrates, who wrote nothing down, Plato recorded his ideas through highly engaging, fictionalized, dramatic scripts known as Socratic dialogues. The Republic, his masterpiece exploring the definition of justice, the ideal city state, and the nature of the human soul. The Apology, the Apology, a dramatic recreation of the speeches Socrates delivered at his trial. The Symposium, a collection of speeches concerning the nature, purpose, and origins of love. The Laws, his final most pragmatic work dealing with legal systems, ethics, and political institutions. The lineage of thought. Plato's intellectual legacy is tightly bound to his teacher and his prized student, forming the bedrock of classical thought. Next subject, guys. Aristotle was an ancient Greek philosopher and polymath who stands as one of the most influential figures in Western history, a student of Plato at the Platonic Academy and a tutor of Alexander the Great. Aristotle laid the intellectual foundation for formal logic, the nature sciences, ethics, and political theory. Unlike his mentor Plato, who believed ultimate reality existed in a separate realm of ideal forms, Aristotle pioneered an empirical approach, arguing that truth must be discovered by observing the physical world through our five senses. Core areas of impact: logic and syllogism. Father of logic, he created the world's first formal system of reasoning. Syllogism developed deductive reasoning structure. Example: all men are mortal. Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. The Organon, his collected writings on logic served as the definitive guide for the Western science and reasoning for millennia. The Golden Mean and Virtue Ethics, his seminal work on how humans can achieve true happiness or human flourishing. The Golden Mean propounded that virtue is always the perfect middle ground between two vices of excess and deficiency. Example: courage is the healthy middle ground middle ground between cowardice, deficiency, and recklessness excess. Natural sciences and biology. Father of biology. He was the first to systematically classify living organisms based on shared characteristics. Empirical studies spent years mapping wildlife anatomy, accurately identifying that dolphins are mammals rather than fish. The four causes argued that to fully understand any object, you must discover its material cause, what it is made of, formal cause, its design, shape, efficient cause, what created it, and final cause, its ultimate purpose. Politics and poetics. Political theory examined 158 Greek city state constitutions and famously declared that man is by nature a political animal. Literary criticism. His book Poetics established the foundational rules of drama, tragedy, and storytelling that writers still use today. Key works: Metaphysics, an exploration of existence, substance, and the unmoved mover. Physics, his early treatise on the nature of motion, change, and time. Politics, an evaluation of governance, citizenship, and the ideal state. Yeah, guys, this is what we had to say about Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. You know, about Socrates, Aristotle, about Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. This is what we had to say. I thought I'll give it a read, So, we have recorded 17 minutes of video time so far. Not so bad, I'll say. So what we did in this video so far was we read about some of the headlines from geopolitics. Other than that, we read about Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle from encyclopedia. What AI overview had, not from encyclopedia, I mean what AI overview had to say about all these three philosophers. So I just gave them a read from a tablet. So what I'll do is, before wrapping this video, I'll just read about some of the writings from a journal. So I have three writings from a journal. I'll give them a read. This is what it says. This week has been busier than usual. FIFA World Cup 2026 edition concluded last weekend. Spain won the trophy. Their team was dominating on the game day as per match statistics. Their football team was honored by the country's royal family. I guess the winning prize received was of amount $50 million. The New Jersey Stadium had capacity of around 80,000 people. There were many A-listers watching the big showdown. At the roof there were snipers as well for security reasons. There is new Nolan's Odyssey movie in theaters, which is already breaking many records. In coming 3-4 days, we are expecting heavy rainfall. At places of landslides, it takes few days or weeks of work before conditions become normal. There has been cases of cloudburst causing destruction in the region and displaces many families. It's that time of the year where traveling needs better planning based on weather conditions. Until next time, goodbye, smiley face. Hey guys, this was one of my writings from a journal. One of the writings from a journal. I thought I'll give it a read. Now let's move on to another writing. This is what it says. These days there is a lot of unrest and chaos in many cities. There is ongoing protest against education norms. I am sure it will all settle down soon. Talking about US-Iran conflict, markets are worried about crude oil prices fluctuating. Stock markets shake up as well due to ongoing wars. Showcasing strength in a battle have many pros and cons. Pentagon approved record $1.15 trillion annual defense budget. Had a friend whose business was to sell ammunition to the country's army. Saw that movie War Dogs, where these people's business venture deal was about ammunition supply. Modern history has seen endless battles It's hard to understand the worldly order, sometimes spilling blood, taking people's lives. I'm not sure if that's the only way out. Legend has to say war begins when dialogue and diplomacy fails. Until next time, goodbye, smiley face. Yeah, guys, that's another of my writing from the journal. Now I'll read last writing from a journal and I'll wrap this video. This is why it says, was recently reading about some of the renowned philosophers on my tablet. Their contribution shaped norms of a society. Being a think tank needs patience and being able to evaluate situations. For me, I need to feed my mind a lot of information to be able to feel informed in life. When learning about new subjects, one needs to have open mind. It takes training of mind to be able to understand complex subjects. Focus and determination can help us grow in life. Living in a city feels like being part of a circus. Language is a form of coding as well. Somewhere we humans are wired in such a way that we foresee better future and things working out in our side. It's not a bad idea to keep positive thinking in life. Meditation has always helped people to overcome their fears. The challenging part becomes acceptance of how reality is like. I don't mind succumbing to situations in life, even if things are not going my way. As far I am breathing alright, I know I got it all, and I'm sure things will flourish for me and everyone else. Goodbye, smiley face. Okay, guys, this was also one of the writings from a journal. So I just gave 3 of the writings from a journal a read. That's what the plan for this video was. So what I'll do now is I'll wrap this video in a time. I'll put this video on YouTube and share it with you guys. That's what the plan is. So in this video we read about some of the updates from geopolitics. Other than that, we read about Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, all the greatest philosophers of the time. Other than that, I read 3 writings from a journal. So that's what the plan for this video was. Now what I'll do is I'll put this video on YouTube and share it with you guys, and I'll wrap this video now. So that's it for right now. Bye bye, have a good one, and love you all.